The Honourable Leader of the New Democratic Party.
Mr. Speaker, my question is for the Premier. Everyone knows that the rising cost of food is outpacing inflation. In fact, price growth for food has exceeded general inflation for 10 consecutive months, and food has become too expensive for some families. Mr. Speaker, what direct action will the Premier take for people who cannot afford to buy enough groceries to feed their families?
The Honourable Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank the member for this important question. Affordability is a real problem in this province, across the country, and indeed really around the world in many respects, Mr. Speaker. We know the cost of food, the cost of gas, the cost of just the overall cost of living is really putting pressure on Nova Scotian families, and we're deeply concerned about this, Mr. Speaker. In terms of the member's specific question about food, we're doing what we can, Mr. Speaker. We are making significant investments in food banks around this province. We're looking at a number of initiatives to support Nova Scotians. We know the cost of living is causing a lot of pain in Nova Scotian families, and we're concerned about it, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Leader of the New Democratic Party.
Mr. Speaker, in this House, we should be working to make sure to put food banks out of business. Mr. Speaker, this government is out of touch with the needs of working families who a year ago made enough money to cover their bills but now find themselves coming up short at the end of each month. Someone from Yarmouth contacted us to say that their entire monthly income is now consumed by bills, but they earn too much to qualify for any government assistance. Because of the rising cost of food, this individual can only afford to eat one meal per day. Any more increases to their bills will put them on the street, and this is one of the stories we hear daily. Mr. Speaker, can the Premier tell us when the government will stand up for working families who used to earn enough to make ends meet, but now find themselves falling behind during this inflationary crisis and need help today?
The Honourable Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I want to assure the member that we understand the gravity of this issue for sure. As a government, we've taken a number of steps where we can. Government can't do it all, Mr. Speaker, but where we can, we've certainly been a government of action. We've seen that in things like the CCA wages. We've seen that in the child care agreements. These are important steps, Mr. Speaker. They shouldn't be minimized. The Seniors Care Grant. We're doing what we can to support Nova Scotians. We know that inflation is a real problem. We know that inflation is causing pain on Nova Scotian families across this province, and we will continue to look for ways to step up and support those families where we can, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
The Honourable Leader of the New Democratic Party on her final supplementary.
Mr. Speaker, I hope that's true, because the support provided by this government so far does not help families whose incomes are being outpaced by the economic crisis. A parent from Terrence Bay told us, "I'm currently on maternity leave making $674 bi-weekly. While many things are going up, I'm fighting to even tread water and to keep food in the house." Mr. Speaker, these people are not eligible for any of the government's targeted programs and are struggling with nowhere to turn. What does the Premier have to say to working Nova Scotians who are struggling to make ends meet?
The Honourable Premier.
Mr. Speaker, to say that the government is doing nothing would be completely false. The government is doing what it can, for sure. We have initiatives, rent supplements, we have grants, we have all kinds of things that we do to try to support Nova Scotians. Where there are gaps, where people might fall through, we're always looking for ways to do that, Mr. Speaker. And I want to go back to the food banks and the important service that they're providing to Nova Scotians. And on this side of the House, we know that we need to.
Order, please. The Premier has the floor. The Honourable Premier.
Well, what I would just say, Mr. Speaker, is we take every effort we can to support those community organizations that step up to help Nova Scotians, and we're not interested in putting anyone out of business in this province that will be there to help Nova Scotians.